This episode of Tekzilla is brought to you by The Ben Heck Show. You've got the questions, and Loyd has the answers. It's time again for Ask Loyd, where Loyd Case joins us to answer your toughest PC questions. Thanks for coming back, Loyd.
Great to be here.
Are you excited? You're at PC World now?
Yes.
What are you doing?
Senior editor of PC Systems. So I'm going to be managing the group that does all the system reviews, including laptops and desktops, as well as the DIY stuff as well.
Are we allowed to talk about that incredibly shiny Ultrabook we talked to? We actually touched a couple?
The PR that went out, so it's official, yes. You mean the ThinkPad?
Yes.
X1 Carbon.
Yes.
£3 for 14-inch display.
Have they priced that yet?
I have not seen a price for that. It's not. They're not calling it an Ultrabook. It's not going to be a low-cost thing.
Yeah, it's not going to be a low-cost thing. It is the best keyboard I have touched on anything that thin yet. It is like the whole idea of a ThinkPad is that they always have a good keyboard. It is amazingly thin, has an amazing keyboard.
And 1600 by 900 display.
Which is nice.
Yeah. The only thing that's it's really kind of too bad about this is this very sleek, modern design, and they did build in mobile broadband, but it's 3G, not LTE, which is too bad. I was talking to the guys about it, and they said the LTE chips are just too large. I thought, well, they can put an iPad. Anyway.
And the battery life sucks too.
Probably.
That would be atrocious. Should we start with questions, or do you want to tell me why you have a 400-pound camera on the table?
Oh, it's, well, almost 400 pounds. This is my new D800. I hold this up because people can't get these right now.
How did you, okay, first of all, it literally does weigh about 4.5 pounds. Which is nice because it's got the old school Nikon feel.
Right.
There's like no plastic in this, except for the screens maybe.
Yeah.
What's the sensor going on in this?
36 megapixels.
Oh my
Made
goodness.
by Sony.
So would this be considered prosumer or full-on professional?
Well, I mean, that's kind of a fine-tooth distinction. Prosumer is probably the right word, but I know a lot of pros that are buying it.
Do I even want to know what you paid for this?
It's a $3,000 body. Yeah.
I'm going to put this down very gently.
Yeah, I once was at a event where I was shooting a bunch of stuff, and I had my bag full of lenses, and I thought briefly about how much money was in my backpack, and I thought I better not drop this. Don't fall over.
Yeah, I drove down to CES this year with like I think $150,000 worth of video production gear at a U-Haul trailer, and I was like, yeah. We're not getting too far from the truck when we fuel it up.
Right. Okay. Well, we're here to talk about PC stuff, right?
We are, actually. Should we start with the first question?
Sure.
James in Vancouver writes in, I have this problem. Half the time when I turn on the computer, the right monitor does not get detected. I unplug power to the monitor, I plug it back in, and then the monitor is detected. I've warrantied the video card, I've replaced the power supply, I've swapped monitors and DVI cables around, and I've even changed name brand power strips. It continues to perplex me. James in the original Vancouver, not Vancouver.
This is not an uncommon problem. I'm a little surprised it's happening to him over DVI.
Right.
Because I've had relatively few problems recently with DVI.
Recently.
Maybe recently. It is more common with DisplayPort and HDMI. There seems to be still, even with a lot of graphics cards, handshaking over these digital display connectors, partly because of all the content protection stuff that's built into it. Anyway, but partly just because, I don't know, the signaling, there's a lot of
It's really funny. This should be sorted, just like HDMI. This should be sorted. This is a standard spec.
Yes. I have this problem also with, I have a GTX 680 in my system connected over DisplayPort, and the DisplayPort connector loses sync every now and then. And this occasionally happens with AMD GPUs, but it seems to happen more often with NVIDIA, but NVIDIA has been doing DisplayPort as long. So.
And it's funny because you can't really blame the monitor manufacturer. You can't really blame the GPU manufacturer. It doesn't seem to be the case.
And they do all these plug fests where supposedly they test everything and it all works, right?
So basically the answer here is, I'm sorry, you're stuck with it.
Yes. A new monitor might cure the problem, but I don't want to bet on that.
Right. Yeah, it's a reasonable statement. Joe writes in, I've got a Cooler Master Storm Scout case, and I'm wondering how to reduce dust buildup since the window on the side doesn't have a dust shield. Thanks, Joe from Minnesota.
Well, you can always like cut a hole out and put screen material in the side. I've actually seen people, you know, a lot of those side panels have like little perforations in them. And you can actually put screen material over it.
I mean, you can get out the duct tape and the old piece of nylon.
And it cuts down airflow a little bit, but, you know, you're letting less dust in. But even cases with like those sexy removable dust filters that you can go blow out, they still get dust inside them, at least in my house. So every now and then you got to pull out the canned air, and I take my PC and I set it on a table outside and I blow it all out. And all the little dust bunnies come running out.
Yeah, if there's dust in your house, it will get inside your PC.
Right, and you can do other tricks too. One of the things you can do is do a little positive pressure thing with your fans so that there's more air blowing into the case and blowing out. You'll still get plenty of ventilation, but it keeps some of the dust out. But
get
eventually,
it off the floor.
Eventually, yeah. Well, you can't hardly do that. I mean, well, I guess you can, but
Oh, I don't know. I had someone who used to have a giant fur ball the size of their cat inside their PC, and just getting it up off the floor meant it was sort of a tumble mouse instead of a tumble cat inside their PC.
Yeah. That's why I keep my dogs out of my office. My dogs are not allowed in my office.
Oddly enough, the dog hair travels even where the dogs aren't.
Sometimes.
Oh my goodness. And finally, Tim shot us this email. Seeing the recent news about the $1,000 GeForce GTX 690 card infuriates me. Will there ever be a stopping point to this technology madness, or will people always be forced to spend a few $1,000s every few years to enjoy their favorite PC games? Sadly, I think more and more PC gamers will have to give up and settle for a gaming console like me. Tim, sad console user. Well, somebody's been believing the hype.
There's several things that you can do. First of all, you don't have to believe that you need a $1,000 video card to play games well.
And ironically, a GTX 690 is less expensive than the GTX 680s it replaces in performance.
Well, they're about the same price, actually.
Well, if you could even buy a 680.
If you can buy either one. But anyway, the point is, like for PC World last year, I built a gaming system that cost under $1,000. And on a standard HD display, 1080p, it does a perfectly good job, even with AA turned on in some games. There are some games like Metro 2033 that'll never run good on any system ever. But most games will run pretty well. I mean, so I don't think you need a $1,000 video card or even a $2,000 PC to have a good gaming experience.
No, I can say I built for several years. I built a series of $500 gaming PCs, and are they going to do the most amazing triple monitor displays? No, but I think you need to.
Most people have 1080p displays or lower.
And 1080p displays, a $300 graphics card is going to crush it.
That's right. And then the other thing you can do, if you're really on a really tight budget and have an old system, you can go on one of these streaming services. If you have broadband internet, you get like Geek or OnLive, and it won't be the perfect gaming experience in the sense that the resolution's a little lower.
Right.
But I mean, you don't need a high performance system at that point. You can even do it on a tablet.
It's kind of funny, though. At some point, do you ever think the sort of graphics war between game vendors and GPU manufacturers is ever going to end?
Oh, probably not. I mean, right now the PC is king again, sort of, kind of, because the graphics cards are so much better than what's in the consoles now, and then it'll probably flip-flop. The question is the console cycle going to come to an end? And that's an interesting question because of the way content's being distributed and handled. A lot of the cloud-based services may put an end to that. We'll have to see. I don't know. It's kind of back to uncertainty in the gaming business again.
It seems like a good week to be uncertain. Max Payne, Diablo 3, if you can log into it. Have you played Diablo 3 yet?
I got to play for an hour yesterday, actually. And I should say, it's not that I had problems before, I just didn't have time to even try it. So I got it, and I didn't have any problems. But then again, I knew people that did have lots and lots and lots of problems, like our own Robert Heron, who had some issues.
There was several people I know were banging their heads against walls trying to play that. What would you say the entry-level card for a Diablo 3
Oh, Diablo 3. I know people that are playing on a MacBook Pro.
There you have it. So. That is not that's not even a $50 graphics card inside of a MacBook Pro.
Pros have discrete graphics, but kind of low-end discrete graphics.
Yeah, very low. So what's coming up on PC World?
Well, let's see. I just wrote a couple news articles about the NVIDIA Graphics Technology Conference. They just announced a 7.1 billion transistor chip. Wow. It's going to ship later on this year, mostly for GPU compute type stuff. Other things that's happening, we've got it's the Ivy Bridge Ultrabook rush, right? So all these companies are announcing their Ultrabooks, and pretty soon they'll start shipping, and we'll be reviewing lots and lots of those.
Where's the best place to find those reviews?
On PCWorld.com.
Loyd, awesome information as always. Loyd will be back in a few weeks. We'll let you know so you can send in more questions. Right now, well, more Tekzilla coming up, but we're going to take a moment to thank one of our sponsors. Join modding wizard Ben Heck and his friends as they build and modify a host of amazing community-inspired creations. New episodes of The Ben Heck Show come every 2 weeks right here at revision3.com/TBHS. The latest episode, amazing. Ben uses both Android and Arduino to make another lazy band invention. And do us a favor, don't forget to go to element14.com/TBHS to find out how you can enter to win the latest builds from Ben's show.